I was really excited about coming home, really just for the fact of, my husband not having to trek across to see me every day because he was tired, and just to see my children regularly as well, because I was really missing them.
I was desperate to come home, but also there was a fear, trepidation almost of what next.
So when it's time for you to go home, it will mean that the surgeons are very happy with your flap and with your wounds, and that you're mobile enough to be able to go home. Your body will only work at a given pace. It's quite important to touch base with you before you do go home, to understand that you know what the next steps are, but also that we prepare you for that really emotional step of going home. You're a changed person, you look different, you will have mobility restrictions, probably, and mobility aids. So it is a really emotional time for you and for your family, but that's normal.
When you're discharged from hospital, you'll be given various bits of discharge information. One of those will be your rehabilitation prescription. It will have your key worker, who is generally the main therapist that treats you on the ward, and one of the rehabilitation coordinators, and we can be your key contact for when you are discharged from hospital. So when you go home, you're not all by yourself. We also will have sent the referral and the information on to your therapy teams that we want you to continue with, whether that's inpatient, outpatient, community. They will have all of the information about you. Again, they will also have our contact details. So when you go home, we'll have made sure that everything is in place that you need, whether that's care, whether it's equipment, and organise, as I say, those referrals that sometimes can take a little while to come into play, but they are there.
It may be that you will come back to the plastics dressings clinic, where the nurses there will continue to advise you on what you must do at home until they next see you. And that may be that you get support from your practice nurse or even your district nurse who will come out and see you, but the nurses will communicate with each other and with your GP.
So when you've gone home, there still may be some areas that have not completely healed. So what I would suggest you do is, if possible, get it in the shower it down, clean it with some soapy water, and then pat it dry or leave it to air dry and reapply the dressings. You can also put some moisturising cream on it, something very simple, and just put that on twice a day.
One of the key things that I would want you to worry about, and to let us know directly, not even your GP, it's a come back to the emergency department, is if you feel clinically unwell. So if you have a fever, okay, and your leg is red, hot and swollen. Now, that's difficult because your leg will look red, hot and swollen because it has a new flap on it. But that combined with you feeling unwell is cause for concern. In terms of how the wound looks, it will tend to get a little bit scabby and it'll dry out. You might get a little bit of oozing. But as long as you can contain that with dressings, we wouldn't be worried. Now, if you get pus, again, that's something we would want to know about. And you will have contact details for the plastics dressings clinic, for myself, and for the rehabilitation coordinators.
So once the wounds have completely healed up, and by that I mean that there is all the edges of the wounds are no longer raw, there's no scabs, there's no dry little bits, it's all completely come off, which is usually about a month. Then after that, what you're going to see is a gradual change in the flap and the scars over time. What you'll see is the flap will continue to flatten out. The scars over the top of that act like any other scar. So what you'll see is between about 3 months and 6 months, it will get more red, more lumpy. Then it will peak at that point and start to come down. And by about 18 months, the scar that you have then is probably the scar that you're going to have for the rest of your life. Yeah, right, now I'm going to separate it if you can lift your leg up.
I was having to go on I think it was every other day, to have the wound redressed, so I could see a change. There was obviously a healing process starting to take place, and every sort of appointment there was something slightly different. That, it changed colour, it would. There were healing around the edges of the wound, and many things.
People say to me that they're concerned about what the final outcome is going to be in terms of the scar into the leg. Now, in terms of what you do or don't like about the scar, that's the important thing to determine. Is it the colour? Is it the texture of it? Is it the way that it feels? There's different things that we can do for all of those things, and also the timing of it. Some of these may continue to get better over time. So I think the thing to do is for us just to talk about it and reassess those things, and to make a plan that's unique and individual for you.
I sort of look at the photo of my heel. I can't believe it looked like that, and just 8 months ago. You really need to just be kind to yourself, and just take on anything that people will do for you, any time people will spend with you. But you just think you really need to be kind to yourself, not beat yourself up about what happened, and it really is one day at a time, I think.